Hello and welcome to This Week in Falcons Athletics presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. My name is Matt Mendel, and this week we talk women's lacrosse, but up first we talk softball. That with senior Jasmine Freeze. Can you believe it's already your senior season?
I honestly cannot believe it. It goes by so fast, but it's been so fun so far.
How do you feel like you've improved as a player in your 3+ seasons?
Oh my goodness. I think just mentality-wise, you definitely gain that with experience and, just having the girls behind you. And with this being my last year, it's just awesome.
How has your role changed?
It has changed a lot. Definitely started off with just having DPing opportunities, and then once Gina left, then stepping up as a pitcher, and definitely with us having mainly younger class pitchers, definitely being a leader for them, showing them what it takes to be a college pitcher, and it's been great so far.
Did you come to Concordia with the expectation you would pitch at some point?
Actually, no, that's the funny story. I actually was recruited to be an outfielder. And then the pitching coach at the time, Coach Steele, really saw potential in me, and that's where I kind of converted into being a pitcher.
And it's paying off so far. We'll talk about that as we go along, because one thing I do want to touch on is your bat. It came alive last year in a big way. Ended up hitting .337 with 10 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Did your plate approach change a great deal last year?
It definitely did. I think with our previous coach, Coach Crook, he definitely helped me become more disciplined in the box, really identifying what are my pitches, what are the pitches I'm trying to swing at. And I think going into this year, just having all the confidence in the world in myself, everything I put into the 4 years I've been a part of this program, and really knowing like if I do end up having a bad day, that my other teammates are going to pick me up. So.
Thus far in your career, you've hit 17 home runs, 2 of which have come so far this season. Is there a home run or two that stand out among the rest?
I do have to go back to my junior year last year where I hit the Grand Slam walk-off, so that was definitely a highlight of mine. Yeah.
You look at pitching, and we just talked about, okay, not maybe mentally coming into Concordia with that mindset that you would pitch, but in the circle so far this year, when you've had success, what's been working?
Definitely my screw and my drop curve are my go-tos. Those are the pitches that I just think growing up were the ones that I mastered first. So it's definitely bread and butter for me. Yeah.
How about for the team when you look at the success the squad has had so far here in the spring? What's been working?
I think as a collective group, our change-ups have been really good. And I think when we have power behind our pitches, it's very important to mix up speed. So I think that's what's really been, as a collective group, what has made us really great in the circle.
Big doubleheader to open up conference play on Saturday against Dominican, the preseason conference favorites. Lost game 1, bounced back in a big way to win game number 2. How are you guys able to bounce back in that second game?
I just think we're both competitive teams, Dominican and us, and I just think we definitely did not give our best that first game, and knowing that we can rise to the occasion. I just think not giving up on ourselves and each other, and that's what really brought us through, and definitely just getting that home run that first inning definitely sparked it for us. And as a pitcher, going in with a run already in the books, it definitely relieves pressure, so that was great.
And when you look at the schedule ahead, it could be a very busy week for the softball team. And hopefully finally some games at Catalyst Park. Before Patrick Cassidy hit record, you and I were talking off air about just, you look at the springtime. Mm-hmm. How as an athlete do you juggle the spring season, knowing that, every day you just never know whether you're going to play a game, not play a game, if a game's going to get moved, and how do you, juggle that with academics?
Definitely starts from the top. I think Coach Megan does a really good job of making sure that we have the mindset to just go at any day, and definitely being flexible. You have to work with your professors. The professors here are really great. They're very adaptable with us, so it's definitely very collaborative with getting through the spring season.
Do you get used to it at some point, or is it one of those expect the unexpected?
Yeah, you definitely do. I think definitely going back to my freshman year, there was a lot of times where I was like, whoa, this schedule is very crazy and chaotic, but you learn to love it and you learn to just live in the moment. Definitely as a senior, I just want to play, so it's definitely great whenever we can just squeezing in those games, because I like to call it April Madness, because a lot of times we do skip March and then go straight into just game after game in April. So.
Well, the madness is real when you look at the week ahead. As of right now, scheduled to play Carroll University on Wednesday. That could change. Stay tuned to CWFalcons.com. But on top of that, also expected to be home on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, a makeup doubleheader against Benedictine. I guess your thoughts on the road ahead, but also the opportunity to play at home.
Oh, it's definitely great to have that home advantage. what I look forward to. I love hearing everybody's walk-up songs, but yeah, it's just we practice there every day, so it's nice. Like, we know what the field feels like. The energy there is just amazing. So definitely love after today going into having home games for a while.
So what is your walk-up song?
So my pitching one is "Mama Said Knock You Out" by LL Cool J, and then my hitting one is "Let's Go" by Trick Daddy. So.
Well, let's go. And as Jasmine Freeze goes to knock out the opposition in the circle, thanks a lot for your time. All the best this week.
Thank you so much.
That's Jasmine Freeze, and we will continue with women's lacrosse. We talk with Delaney McCardle after this on This Week in Falcons Athletics, presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin.
I can't imagine being any other profession than an orthopedic surgeon. We have the privilege and we have the responsibility to make people better. We've been fortunate enough to take care of professional athletes. We've also been fortunate enough to take care of our neighbors and friends who trust us to give them back their life.
One of the main reasons I came here was because this is the way healthcare is meant to be delivered. Being devoted exclusively to orthopedic care means that we can focus on delivering specialized care for every patient. And that includes not only the surgeons and the physicians, but also anesthesia, controlling pain, the nurses, and the scrub techs, and everyone in the recovery is dedicated to treating conditions that are very similar for people.
Our tagline is an uncommon focus on you. We think the focus on the patient experience is what sets us apart. Before we make any process or clinical decision at the hospital, we start with the same question: is this what's best for the patient? If we can't answer yes, we move on to the next idea. Our nurses provide care for no more than 3 patients per shift, whereas other facilities, they might provide care for 7 or even 8 patients per shift. We think this personalized care is what sets us apart from others.
I think that dedication to our patients is our number one focus. And you can technically do a good operation, but if you're not centered on the patient, they're not necessarily going to have a great outcome.
The Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin is physician-owned. It's physician-led. We have the responsibility to make the right decision for every patient. We also have the freedom to make the right decision for every patient.
Physicians and staff collaborate through regular meetings, weekly and monthly, and with a relatively small team, we're able to change the way we do things if we need to tweak something to make it perfect.
The facility specifically was designed so that quality could be measured and maintained and sustained. When you have 7,000 patients a year receive their surgery here, it's important that patient number 1 and patient number 7,000 receive the same care.
We place an extremely high priority on the patient experience here. We send surveys to each and every person that receives care at our hospital. Those survey results come back directly to me. I review them and share them with our senior leadership, as well as the staff and the physicians that provide the care to those patients.
There's almost 5,000 hospitals in the country that are measured. The Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin measures number 1, not number 2, not number 3, not runner-up, number 1 in patient satisfaction in the state of Wisconsin for the last 10 years running.
Welcome back to This Week in Falcons Athletics, presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin. Now talking women's lacrosse with junior Delaney McCardle. And year number 2 now for you as a Falcon. What's been the big difference from 1 year to year 2?
I think definitely on the field, like growing in my confidence and stuff on the defensive end. I've definitely gone more for those knockdowns and aggressive body positioning, but keeping it level of play, not getting too aggressive.
So have your responsibilities pretty much stayed the same, or have you picked up, maybe more of an expanded role?
I think definitely, especially in the beginning, that Spalding, I went more onto the attacking side. And then in the transition, definitely being more of the vital people in those swing passes and that transition aspect, definitely more of a role this year.
I'm so glad you brought up that Spalding match, because I was going to bring it up too. You scored a couple of goals in that game, your first 2 as a Falcon. How special was that?
It was special. I haven't been on the attacking side of the field probably since 7th grade. So scoring those 2 goals, it was definitely an adrenaline rush. I'm wow, like it'll probably never happen again, but
And one of those came on the free position. What's the strategy to a free position shot?
I actually had Caitlin Cardinal. She's one of them who will take them often. She taught me how to run it in where you like tuck it and then cut off your defender. So I used it and it worked.
When you look at the goalie, you look into how they're standing. What are you looking at with your eyes? Start to make your way toward goal.
Usually I'll see how they're positioned, and usually I'll try and fake high and then shoot low because most oftentimes that's how you get them.
Now you look at the team and you look at the last number of weeks. Some tough losses, but certainly this team's been very competitive. Is it fair to say you guys have started to make that turn now and starting to gel?
I think so, yeah. I think we especially saw that versus Cornell. I feel like we really meshed together on the field, and like we're kind of picking up on each other's strengths and weaknesses and where one person is more important, like more vital, I guess, and playing to their strengths.
I got to believe you're starting to get used to one another, too, with all these games already been played. And, a handful of new faces on top of the fact, waiting for some athletes to get done with prior sports, but it's all coming together.
Yeah, and I think we see that especially on the attacking side more now, too, like who's cutting when, how they like to shoot, and obviously just getting used to each other's playing styles and stuff.
You mentioned Cornell, and that was a victory out at Fitting Field on Saturday in overtime. Good conference victory. What was the story in that matchup?
It was definitely high pressure, and I think during that last game we noticed it was in our attitude and the little things we all wanted it during that game, and we were working from that first quarter to the last, even in overtime, just playing the game, doing what we do.
Your sister came through with a couple of goals in that victory. I know we've talked about this in prior programs we've taped, but what's it like to play with your sister?
I enjoy it. I mean, we're on opposite ends. She's obviously more so on the attack and I'm defense, but I enjoy it, and I feel like we have that telepathy where it's I know where she is on the field, I know how she plays. We'll occasionally in the midfield double with each other. It's the last year playing with her too, so. It's
got to be nice though too. If you want to vent, you can go and vent with her. If you want to talk about this, that, or whatever, that you guys again have that connection.
Yeah. Yep, and we've had that since obviously I came in last year, and it's we've been playing the sport together for as long as I can remember. So.
How about for you? And this is the thing that blows my mind is your schedule. On top of the fact that you're a student, you're also an athlete. On top of the fact that you're working about 1 million jobs, how do you juggle everything, and what is life like here in the springtime for you?
Spring is definitely my busiest season. Obviously, like you said, and with nursing school, the clinicals and stuff, I've gotten really good at my time management. My Google Calendar is filled. That's how I keep track of it all, but I enjoy keeping busy and stuff.
You get enough sleep?
Most times, no. That's my Sundays to catch up on all that. But during the week, it's going to bed at 11, then waking up at 5 a.m. for clinicals. It gets exhausting, but I enjoy it.
Well, luckily, unlike softball, when we're talking with Jasmine Freeze, you look at women's lacrosse, not a ton of postponements. It's rare, so usually when the game is going to happen, it's going to happen. It may be delayed a little bit, although don't tell it to Carthage in that matchup. But you look at, the road ahead. And for women's lacrosse, you look at this week, Wednesday at IIT, Saturday at Beloit, next home matchup on April 9th against Lawrence. I guess your thoughts on the road ahead and what this team needs to do to keep on winning?
I'm excited. I think the last game versus Cornell, I think it really showed us that if we work for it hard enough, we can get those wins. And I think going in with that attitude to these next couple of games and later in the season, I think it'll be really good. And we're fine-tuning the ground balls, getting gritty on those little things, and I think those are going to make a big difference in these next few games.
Well, Delaney, thanks a lot for your time. All the best to you and your teammates, and we'll see you back at Fitting Field next week.
Thank you.
That's Delaney McCardle and women's lacrosse. For this week in Falcons athletics. Again, stay tuned to CWFalcons.com because Mother Nature, you never know here in the springtime, but baseball will play today a doubleheader at Wisconsin Lutheran. They'll be at Rockford for a doubleheader on Saturday. Men's lacrosse is going to be home on Wednesday against Lake Forest at 4 p.m. at Dubuque. Coming up on Saturday, men's volleyball, a very important week as they try to get into the NAC men's volleyball tournament. They will be at Benedictine on Wednesday, wrapping up the regular season here on Saturday as senior day against Rockford at 1 p.m. Also on Saturday is track and field. They will be at the Wisconsin Private University Championships. Women's golf is at the Monmouth Invite. And then Saturday and Sunday, men's tennis will be in action against both St. Norbert and against IIT. As always, stay tuned to CWFalcons.com, and thank you for joining us for This Week in Falcons Athletics presented by Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin.